On today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can fail as a freelancer, and the reason that it's important is that maybe you'll be able to avoid these stupid mistakes. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, what is up? So I'm currently reading a book, really good book by Charlie Munger. He's the partner of Warren Buffett, but mostly nobody talks about him. Anyway, he said something really interesting in the book, which is he has a favorite quote, which is basically, I wish you would tell me where I'm going to die so that I can not go there ever. And basically what he was trying to say with that quote is that a lot of time people are really trying to understand or learn something like how to succeed, but it's sometimes much more easier if you try to learn the opposite of it. So how do people fail and then just try to not do the mistakes that everybody else is doing? And he says there's nothing more common than people, losing their business because of very stupid mistake that tons of people did before them, but because they never bothered to learn history or why other people are failing, they're doing the same mistake that everybody else is doing. So it's very unoriginal and very kind of lazy not to see why other people are failing and try to learn it by yourself and then doing the same mistakes over again. So I took some time to think and see around me, how a lot of my friends started freelancing and then burned out and closed their business and went back to working full-time for somebody else, and try to realize why that happened so I can share these mistakes with you so that you can avoid them and be successful with your freelance business. So let's get started with the 5 things that you need to do if you want to be a failure as a freelance designer. So keep that in mind. Let's start with number 1. The number 1 thing you need to do if you want to fail as a freelancer is do not have a systematic way to attract client. Just wait there and trust that somebody might recommend you or a client might call you one day and everything is going to be all right. Now, even though it might sound funny to you, that's basically how most freelancers work, right? They have people coming into them, and usually it works. So sometimes they have better months, sometimes they have weaker months, but overall, things are okay. Now, they might be nervous on time to time, especially in times like right now with pandemic and recession. They might not know what's going to happen next. But the thing is that for most of their history as freelancers, they basically relied on luck. And the fact that they had good luck up until now make them confident that things are going to be okay. But as we can see right now, not necessarily everything is going to be okay, and not necessarily, as they say in investment, past performance does not guarantee, future performance. So just the fact that people were reaching out to you previously does not promise that you're going to be lucky in the future. So what can you do about this? How can you avoid this mistake? You can start working on channels that can systematically bring in leads for your business as a freelancer. When you're doing active marketing, such as producing content or going to events or doing ads, or there's actually multiple of different marketing channels that you can do, that if you take specific actions, you're going to see specific results, and that is predictable versus just waiting for things to happen. So if you want to fail again, just wait for everything to be okay and wait for yourself to be lucky. Number thing that you can do to fail as a freelancer is don't charge enough for your work. And this is another classic mistake that everybody's doing. I don't want to raise my prices. Maybe my clients are going to run away. And actually, I don't even really know what does it mean to charge enough? Because the thing is, most freelancers never went down and did the calculation of their break-even rate. Like, how much do I actually need to earn for every hour that I work on every day so that at the end of the month or at the end of the year, I'll be able to pay myself, to pay for rent, to pay for food, to pay for all of my debts. They never go down and do this calculation. Why? Because it's boring and it's not creative and it's not what I thought freelancing is going to be about. So if you want to fail as a freelancer, you can keep that ignorant state of mind where if it's not creative, it's not your job to do. Don't worry about finances and just price whatever you want because you've heard other people might be pricing that or because that's what your clients are willing to pay. And, well, just you'll find out at the end of the month if you're broke or not. But this is a sure way of making sure that you'll fail as a freelancer. If you want to avoid that, as I've mentioned, take the time to sit down, understand your finances, learn how to calculate your break-even rate, learn how to estimate how much to charge for each project, and raise your prices to make sure that at the end of the month, you'll have enough to pay yourself. Now, the third thing that you can do if you want to be a failure as a freelancer is you can treat your clients like they are your enemies. And this is a very, very common, almost a lot of the freelancers that I know are doing this, and this is very popular. You can even see this in all the humor accounts where, the client is always the evil one and they're always treating the freelancer like crap. And so if you want to fail, you can keep that attitude and you can always blame them for everything that goes wrong, and you can hate, going on calls with them or going to their office or doing what they're asking you to do. Because at the end of the day, you're in the service business, and so they expect for you to give them good service. So if you want to fail, make sure you're giving them crappy service by not loving to serve them, right? If you want to avoid that failure, change your mindset. Understand that you are in the service business, and so that you need to actually enjoy giving them good service and treating them like kings and queens versus treating them like they are your enemies. The fourth thing that you can do if you want to, fail as a freelancer is never to invest in learning new skills, because, what has been working up until now might keep working and you love doing this. And you can see all the great examples, like me, for example, where I invested a lot of time in learning how to develop and build websites using Flash. And some of my colleagues stuck to it even when Flash died, and they have become truly irrelevant today. So if you want to make sure that you're failing, never learn new skills like Webflow or new technologies that are coming up. Stick with what you know. Stick with freehand. Stick with Quartz Express. Stick with Flash and freehand and what's going on 10 years ago, what worked for you 10 years ago, and don't bother learning what's going on today because, who loves learning new software, right? It sucks. It's not really fun. So don't bother with that. Just keep doing what you did 10 years ago. And the last thing that you can do to for sure fail as a freelancer is just don't take care of yourself, right? Keep working 12 hours or 15 hours per day, 7 days a week, work nights, work weekends. Don't take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you are your freelance business biggest asset. So if you want to make sure that you burn out and that you can't keep working anymore, make sure you work yourself down to the ground, and you'll burn out for sure. This is a sure way. If you want to burn yourself down as a freelancer, just make sure that you work all the time, that you work alone, that you don't interact with other people, and that you basically suffer all day long. And of course, if you want to avoid that, take care of yourself, eat properly, work out, sleep, and be reasonable. All right, I hope these failure bullet points were useful for you. Now you can totally avoid them. Of course, they were presented cynically to clarify to you how stupid these mistakes are, and yet almost everybody that I know is sinning in one way or another within these one of few mistakes. So hopefully you'll adjust your ways so that you can survive and stay as a freelancer. Lots of love. I'm always bad at finishing my videos. I forgot what I want to say at the end. So I just love you a lot, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye.